All right, Shalom. I'd like to start out by giving all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kodash. Double honors unto our elders and apostles of Great Millstone who do teach and rule well, tell us 100% truth, peace, love, and salutations unto the Lord's elect, the hopeful elect, and 1/3. You God came out there pushing his word in truth and sincerity. Unto those of you who are also scattered to the four corners, unto you we say Shalom wa Barakatham. All right. And this lesson, all right, is inspired, okay, by this article, all right. Basically, just going through the algorithm and seeing what's going on, and prophecy is popping off, man. All right, America is through. All right, the third woe, all right, cometh quickly, man. All right. Revelation 11 and 14, the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. All right, and here we have, all right, a recent article, all right, that, came out on August 25th, okay, and, of course, it's behind a paywall, all right, but nonetheless, it reads, Iran inflicted billions in damage to U.S. intelligence sites, sources say. All right, and let's just go back here, okay, and let's do trending. All right, well, it's not back up yet. Okay, so sometimes how it works, they'll put information up there, and then they'll remove it. Okay. But, nonetheless, all right, let's hit latest and see if we could get one of the other articles. Okay, doesn't look like it. All right. So Salakia, there was a few articles that mentioned it. All right, but let's see. Lord's will, we can pull the article back up without the paywall. Okay, here we go. Let's do, oh man, that's an old one. Okay. All right, Shalakia, man, I was hoping to get some information out of it, but anyway, you get the point, man. All right. Basically, during this whole fiasco, all right, Iran has inflicted billions of dollars in damage to U.S. intelligence sites, all right, because you had NSA outposts, all right, out there in Qatar and these other Middle Eastern countries, okay, you had, SINGENT, signals intelligence outposts, all right, you had basically large operations of the government, all right, of Babylon, America, all right, their governing bodies, again, like NSA posts, listening stations, advanced systems, radar systems for, tracking and detecting, and basically the majority of those, all right, and all of those particular bases, like in Kuwait, Qatar, Bahrain, and all the other places that were hit, all right, those have all been destroyed, man, okay, and they were strategically placed there, all right, to watch and monitor, all right, Iran across the water, all right, and now, okay, with all of that destroyed, all right, you are losing out on valuable intelligence and movement. All right, now, they still have other resources and capabilities. All right, but, the destruction of billions of, radar, SIGINT, NSA listening outposts, and so much more. All right, and then, you had today, all right, you had the CIA director today, all right, who went on a, random trip to Russia, man. Okay, which, the last time, all right, the CIA director went to Russia was, I believe, in 2021. So over 5 years ago. All right, and that was before Russia invaded Ukraine, you know. And so for the CIA director to go travel, all right, across the world, all right, and then not only that, okay, he wasn't on his typical, diplomatic jet, all right, he was aboard, all right, a C-17, all right, a military aircraft, a very big one. Okay, so, some suggesting that, there's something on the precipice, man. All right, because the CIA director doesn't just fly across to Russia, all right, after 5 years, all right, for just a friendly visit. Okay, so things are getting bad, man. Okay, again, the second war is past, and behold, the third war cometh quickly. All right, and then, the new news, all right, is that, let me see if I could just pull this up here. All right. That was August 15th. Okay, let me just go to X real quick. Okay, and it's the Hormuz letter, I believe it's called. Okay, right here. All right. So, you have Russian officials, apparently briefed Iran. All right, basically saying that, with the new Operation Economic Outcasts, all right, they're basically saying, hey, you're going to need to pressure Iran to reopen the strait. All right, which they not reopening nothing, man. Okay, this place, America, Babylon the Great, all right, modern day Sodom and Egypt, all right, which is destined to be destroyed because of its wickedness. Okay, ultimately, has how that saying go, the check that you can't cash, because the Lord has put this place in the trick bag. Okay. And then continuing on, it says Canada is adopting Iran's playbook, declaring it is preparing to ride out Donald Trump term. We will support these businesses for as long as it takes, right? Because now, all right, Canada and the U.S. are at odds, all right, and the tariffs are going to be implemented starting September 8th by Canada, okay? And then you have China, all right, and this all happened today, man, all right? You have China, I skipped one, Slovakia. You have the U.S., proposing canceling, this fake, threat of sanctions, when Iran has been under sanctions for over 20-something years, man. All right, so your little weak-ass sanctions haven't worked, nor will they, okay? Basically, they over here begging, all right, for them to open the strait, all right, because this place is through, all right? And they stated, all right, that Iran's conditions remain unchanged. You're going to pay, you're going to lift all sanctions, you're going to release all Iranian assets, and you're going to end the U.S. naval blockade, and you're going to remove all your troops from the region. See? So this is all about to escalate, okay? China directly rejects the idea that China would change its behaviors and interaction with Iran. See, no one cares about the big bully America no more, man. Okay? You're a laughing stock, man, and rightfully so. All right, because we were a laughing stock. All right, scripture says that, all that passed by thee laugh and hiss, so we were the laughing stock. But guess what? The scripture also says that the Lord will turn the curses onto our enemies. So now you have to become the laughing stock. You see, we were brought to a low estate. We were punished for our wickedness. And who deserves, all right, punishment for their wickedness in these times? You, America, Babylon the Great, starting with your elite banking families. All right. And all of you rats under them. Okay. And the governing institutions and the corporations, and all of that, man, who bleed and destroy the earth, man, bleed people dry and destroy the earth in the process, man. Okay. And it says, China's cooperation with Iran is conducted within the framework of international law. Exactly, man. All right. Again, America, the big bully. Okay. America, Babylon the Great, that great harlot. All right. No more are you dictating terms. Okay. And ultimately, because we know how Nero is, all right? And this idiot Scott, the Treasury Secretary, and, you know, and the Department of War, Drunky Pete, all right? And Narco Rubio, okay? Because, all these men are devils, all right? They're wicked. They're the wicked that the Bible speaks of, man, okay? And so, these idiots, all right, are going to get dragged in, okay? And they're going to get dragged into making some foolish decisions, all right, that will increase prophecy, all right, and ultimately culminate into the destruction of this place, man, all right, which they're already destroying themselves now, all right? And it's beautiful to see the economic disasters, that are creeping in on the horizon, man, all right? And it says China is closely following the developments and will do everything necessary to firmly safeguard its rights and interests. See? So you got China that has Russia's back. Russia has Iran's back. Okay? You have Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, and Turkey, who recently signed an alliance. Okay? And then it says China declares it has made clear on many occasions its firm opposition to illicit unilateral sanctions that have no basis in international law. All right, because let's see here. All right, Salakia, Jake a little tired, man, but he had to get up and get his workout, man. All right, Psalm 94:20, and it reads, shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by a law. Exactly, man. All right, you create fake laws, okay? You bypass the own laws that you write, and so much more, man. All right, you commit all manner of wickedness, idolatry, lasciviousness. You push forth your wine, all right, across the whole world, all right? And chiefly the most important, all right, you took the apple of the Lord's eye, man, and destroyed the Israelite man, woman, and child, man. You so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, and the diaspora, So now, all right, hey, the same way you surrounded us, the same way you thought ill towards us and executed, well, guess what? Now the nations are doing the same thing against you. All right, it reads, economic warfare and maximum pressure provide no solution. China will do everything necessary to firmly safeguard its rights and interests. And this is a quote, man, all right, from the spokesperson of China. Okay, so this place is over, man. All right, it's through, man. Joel 3:10, and it reads, okay, let me open this up, Salakia. All right. All right, we just going to get the point, man, all right, Joel 3:10, beat your plowshares into swords, all right? Hey, because ultimately, plowshare, dealing with hard labor, and, dealing with those who really toil for what they need, not this fake-ass economy here in America, based off debt. And, fake money and illusion and just creating shit out of thin air, man. Okay? And so ultimately, all right, these other nations, all right, have beat their plowshares into swords, man. All right? And your pruning hooks into spears. Okay? Basically, all right, they're showing their might, man. All right? They're showing their ability to, be able to go out there and plow those fields. All right? And then come, with their missiles, all right, with their strength, all right. As it reads, let the weak say, I am strong. All right, now they're showing how strong they are. All right, now they're showing their ability, all right, and how Iran was able to single-handedly, all right, eliminate multiple U.S. bases, man. Okay, let me see if I can grab that. Okay. Here we go. This was 1 week ago from the Washington Post. The Pentagon is weighing a smaller U.S. military presence. You see? So, done deal. You don't have to tell us what it is, man. Okay? It reads, Iran wrecked U.S. Gulf bases permanently. 15 sites may be lost as Trump rethinks military strategy. All right? Apparently, the reports are claiming that Washington may have permanently lost access to as many as 15 bases. You have damage to hangars, radar systems, fuel facilities, communication nodes, and other infrastructure that could force the Pentagon to rethink its Middle East strategy. Trump now faces a major dilemma: rebuild the vulnerable Gulf bases, which you don't have money to rebuild, and invest heavily in hardening them, or shift U.S. forces further west and adopt a more dispersed posture. It reads, Bahrain, Qatar, the UAE, and Kuwait could see changes to their roles. Exactly, man. And those countries have called out America, Babylon the Great, for feeling abandoned. All right. And guess what? It's prophecy, man. All right. Ezekiel chapter 38. All right. Dealing with Russia here. All right, and these other nations that will be joined to him. All right, and the word of the Lord, Yehovah Shem Yahushai, came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, Thus saith the Lord power, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief priest, the chief prince, Salakia, of Meshech and Tubal. All right. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Exactly, man. The special operation being done in Ukraine is nothing compared to the power, strength, and might, all right, that's going to be seen, all right, here soon. Okay. Because, with the director going over to Russia, again, man, that's like a critical event, that doesn't happen, okay, unless events are about to turn a certain light in the very near future, man, okay. And the point I wanted to grab, was 5, but we're going to continue all the way to 7. Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet, exactly. Iran and these, other Muslim countries being joined into them. And, of course, then, you're going to have these European nations, Gomar and all his bands, the house of Togomar of the North Quarters and all his bands, and many people with thee. And what? Be thou prepared, all right, and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. See, so they're going to lead this charge. All right. And it's amazing. All right. Amazing to see. All right. That such a nation, all right, such as Iran, all right, was able to, cripple the power of the Almighty Empire, man. All right. In just a short span. You see, this was short, man. All right, it ain't no war been going on. They just been in the back and forth dialogue. Technically, the ceasefire has still, technically been active, for some time now. It's been like weeks or so, man. Memory serves me well, at least like a month. So again, just seeing that. It further substantiates how, the scripture prophesies that when it's time for those nuclear missiles to fly, all right, this place is cooked, man, all right, in 1 hour, okay, because it's going to be an onslaught, all right, but, the beautiful thing is, we still have some time, man, and, 2027, it might very well be it, it might very well be it, man. All right, it's about to be a horrible winter. It's about to start getting real bad, man. All right, the prices is high. All right, Iran says they're not opening the street. You got the CIA director flying across, to Russia. You got these people running, psychological operations by getting rid of Dolly Parton, and twisting the masses up in some nonsense. All right, all while you're getting belt ass handed to you, man. Militarily and economically. You trying to twist the arms of these other nations, and they're not even wincing. They're not even blinking at you. So it's a beautiful thing to see, man, because it further substantiates that this place is done. All right, and ultimately, okay, it's time to pay. All right, it's time for Babylon. All right, the great America. All right, the most wicked empire to ever exist. It's time for you to pay. All right. Hey, and even the time of Jacob's trouble, man. Gary, Indiana, the blackouts. There was apparently a blackout in another state too. I think like Michigan or something. They're preparing, man. Okay, because ultimately, they're not going to allow for what's happening right now to continue. You're not going to be able to continue to talk about the empire. You're not going to be able to inflict billions in damages across 15 different military sites and think you're just going to get away with it. They about to do something very drastic, man. All right, they're drowning, they're losing. All right, and these elite rats, they know what's going on, man. And Yahweh Shai is about to soon return, man. But we got to let these devils play out, the remainder of the digging of their own pit. All right. So, that's all I wanted to grab, man. All right. But you get the point, man. It's so much going on, man. It's hard to keep up and keep going back and forth. And, all your undercover armies and your data exploitation and, your false identities and deceptions and so much more, man. It's not going to work, man. All right. It's not going to work, man. You are literally through. Okay. So, again, Revelation 11:14, the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. We about to see some things, man. And all it's going to do, all right, all it's going to do is worsen the entire condition of America, Babylon the Great, and chaos is coming, man. All right. Thanks be unto Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bashem Rakagwadash, man, because we need to get the fuck up out of here, man. All right. Until next time, we